Okay, great. So as I told you guys, we are going to cover topics. The fundamental topic that we are going to cover is Python. Okay, so the fundamental topic. So if you know Python, guys, I guarantee you that you will be able to easily survive in the field of generative AI. Okay, be it you may be from any background, but if you master this Python, I can guarantee you that you will be able to easily learn the concept of generative AI and transition yourself into a GenAI engineer with minimum package of, I would say, 40 lakhs per annum if you have 5+ years of experience overall. Okay. So in Python, guys, we will discuss what are variables. Okay. And we will discuss different data types. Okay. And then we are going to discuss what are exclusively we will spend some time on strings. Then we will discuss what are, guys, please go on mute because I can I can hear my sound back. Okay. So in collection, we have list, tuple, sets, and dictionaries. Okay, so Vidya Prakash, could you go on mute, please? Okay, don't mind. So after the collections, guys, we will discuss something called as functions. Okay, not even before functions, we have one important concept that is about loops, conditional statements. Okay, conditional statements. These are the topics that we are going to discuss. In loops, we will have for loop and while loop. And in conditional statements, we will discuss if, elif, and then if, elif, else. Okay. And then we discussed what are transfer statements. Transfer statements like break and then pass, continue. Okay. Then we discussed functions. Very, very important topic, because if there is a technical interview in a company and they are conducting a test, 100% of the time they will ask questions based on functions. That's how significant functions are. Okay. Yeah, I'm coming to that, Chiranjeev. Okay. So after functions, in functions, we have custom functions or inbuilt functions and the custom functions. Okay. We will discuss the difference between both as we go along. And then we will discuss higher order functions. These are also very, very important higher order functions, such as map. Okay, one second. One moment, this pad is acting up. Second. Let me go to this spreadsheet and I'll write it down over here. Okay, so we will discuss map, filter, and reduce. Okay, in higher order functions. These are higher order functions. Okay. And after that, obviously, special functions like generators and decorators. And the single most important thing is OOPS. Okay. So in OOPS, we will discuss 4 principles of OOPS, like inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, and encapsulation. Okay. So this concept is very, very important, guys. When you actually write the code in your projects, you actually use the concept of OOPs. Okay, you will use classes and objects, and there is something called as solid principles that you follow to write your code in the industry. Okay, we'll get to that. So this is about Python that we're going to discuss, these concepts, and along with these other topics that we will discuss. So if you know all these things, you're good with Python. Okay. Next, we will start off with something called as statistics. Okay. So in statistics, we will discuss descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Okay. So in descriptive statistics, we discuss concepts like measures of central tendency, which will have concepts like mean, median, and mode. Then we will discuss measures of dispersions, which will have concepts like variance, standard deviation, range, interquartile range. And in inferential statistics, we will discuss probability and its related concepts. And we will also discuss hypothesis testing and population versus sample. Okay, so this concept should be more than sufficient. And then we will land into a concept called EDA, exploratory data analysis. So in exploratory data analysis, we learn some libraries like pandas. Okay, we will also here I forgot we will learn NumPy. Okay, here we will learn pandas and matplotlib and Seaborn. Okay, these are visualization libraries that we're going to learn. And after that, we will discuss what is CRISP. Okay, what is CRISP that every company follows to build a data science project. Okay, and then we will discuss techniques like imputation techniques. Imputation technique means if the data is empty, how do you fill the empty values? Okay, so we'll discuss those imputation techniques. We will discuss what are outliers and it's how do you handle the outliers. Okay, what is the impact of outliers? Okay, then we will discuss what is encoding, what is feature selection, okay, what is feature scaling, okay, etc. So all these are required in order for you to prepare your data set for the machine learning training. Okay, then you will come to something called as machine learning. So here you will discuss regression based algorithms and classification based algorithms. Okay, so regression based algorithms like linear regression. Okay, then decision tree, regressor. Okay, random forest, regressor, so on and so forth. Okay, etc. There are many other XGBoost regressor, support vector regressor, KNN, K nearest neighbor regressor, so on and so forth. In classification, we will discuss what is logistic regression. Again, in the classification itself, you can still use decision tree classifier, how it works internally, what is the mathematics behind each of these algorithms. Okay, so all those things we will discuss as we go along. Okay, so this is about machine learning. Okay, in machine learning, you have two other concepts like supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. Okay, supervised ML and unsupervised ML. So whatever the algorithms that you saw here, those come under supervised. In unsupervised, you will see clustering based algorithms like k-means clustering or hierarchical clustering. So this is the clustering algorithm that many company uses for recommendation systems. So if you go to Amazon and search for something, you will get similar items, right? So that is happening because of clustering algorithms. So if you go to Netflix, you type a movie name and you will get similar kind of movies. So how is it happening? Because of the machine learning algorithm, which is k-means clustering. Okay, clustering based algorithms. It doesn't have to be k-means. It could be hierarchical clustering as well. Okay, then after we are done with machine learning, we will discuss deep learning models. So the building block of deep learning is perceptron algorithm. Okay, so after that we will discuss what are activation functions. These will be very important interview questions also, activation functions versus loss functions, and what is back propagation. Okay, so what is back propagation? What are optimizers? Okay, and what is multi-layer perceptron? What is artificial neural network? What is CNN, convolution neural network? What is RNN, recurrent neural network? What is LSTM, GRU? Okay, and then we will discuss encoder decoder architecture. Okay, one moment, guys. Okay, encoder decoder architecture, then encoder decoder with attention. Okay, then we will discuss transformer architecture with math, which is the fundamental architecture for the LLMs. Okay, then transformer. Then we will come to generative AI. Okay, so here we will discuss what are LLMs, how did the LLMs come into picture, and what are the limitations of these LLMs. This part is very, very important for all of you. Limitations of LLM and how do you solve the limitations. One technique is prompt engineering. You use prompt engineering techniques to overcome the limitation of the LLMs. The second technique is you will do RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. This, if you master retrieval augmented generation, guys, it's very, very easy for you to land a job in generative AI, because this is the architecture 99% of the companies have it. Okay, for any chatbot that they're currently using, I'm pretty sure 99% of the companies use retrieval augmented generation. Okay. This is very, very important concept.
क्या
Guys,
मस्ती
please go
अरे
on
क्या
mute.
हाँ क्या बीमारी है उसे लो फरसाबा
Guys, don't unmute yourself, guys. Be professional. Okay. Uh, After retrieval augmented generation, we will discuss what is fine tuning. Okay. So if you have your own data set, how do you fine tune or make LLM learn about your data set? Okay. Like you will use techniques called LoRa and QLoRa. Okay. We will discuss those techniques with math behind it. And we will try to fine tune using some of the available resources on the market in the market. Okay. Now we will also do a project with retrieval augmented generation that will be end to end along with the deployment as well. Then we will discuss what is Agentic AI. And in Agentic AI, you have the frameworks like LangGraph and deep agents, and you can still use LangChain as well to build the Agentic AI workflows. Okay, so these are very, very important. Most of the companies, whoever is using Agentic AI workflows, they will use any of these particular frameworks. There are few more like True AI, that is also a framework. Okay, and then you have PhiData. I think they renamed it to some other name, but there is something called as PhiData framework that will be used to build Agentic AI workflows. Okay, and after this, we will discuss evaluation techniques. I forgot to mention. How do you evaluate your RAG applications? Okay, that is very, very important because in interviews, this part will be definitely asked. Okay, so when you build a RAG system, how do you evaluate that system? How do you know that system is working as expected? Do you have a ground truth, actual data, and whatever the model predicted? So you will be comparing both of them and you will be giving some scores like faithfulness, correctness, okay, relevance score, okay, so on and so forth. So those things you will do it, evaluation, and then something called as observability and tracing. Okay. So whenever you send a question to the application, how is that application flowing through your, how is that question flowing through your entire architecture? Okay. Right from the endpoint till it generates the answer in the front end. Like, let's say if it is ChatGPT, I'm sending a question. So when I'm sending a question through ChatGPT, what is happening internally till I get a response on the screen? Okay. That tracing part, you can do it on the platforms like LangFuse. You can trace your data. There is something called as Logfire, okay, which is a framework to trace what is happening internally in your application whenever you send a question. And then there is something called as MLflow, which is also used to trace it, okay, and Langsmith. Okay, so these are the frameworks that we will use for tracing and observability and monitoring. And of course, when you build an application, you should also know how do you ship that application to the various environments. So in companies, you have environment like dev environment, QA environment, then UAT environment, okay, and then you have production environment, right? And then some companies also have stage environment, okay. So you need to deploy, you should be knowing, at least have some idea about how do you deploy an application to the production. So for that, I will show you I call it as LLMOps. So in that LLMOps, I will talk about what is Git, what is GitHub, what is CI/CD pipeline, okay, what is Docker, how do we build a Docker file, how do we create a Docker file, and from Docker file, how do we create a Docker image, and from Docker image, how do we create a container, and once we have the containers, how do we deploy those containers into Kubernetes pods, and we deploy it into a Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so we will discuss the fundamentals of Kubernetes as well. Okay, and in the cloud, we will use AWS. In AWS, we use services like S3, Redis for caching, and DynamoDB to store your conversations. Okay, or you can also use Postgres. We will also use if needed. And then we have OpenSearch Vector Store, okay, to store embeddings that we will have it. Secrets Manager to store your sensitive information, okay, and then EC2 instances to deploy your model on single server. If needed, we will also use EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, to scale your application into multiple servers, okay, and yeah, etc. Okay, if needed, we will also use some other. So Redis is called as Elastic Cache in in AWS. Okay. So these are the things that we discuss in the LLMOps part. Okay. So at a high level, this is the curriculum, guys, that you're going to get. And I would say, if you are thorough with these concepts, um, it is very easy for you to land a job in the generative, especially this part. Okay, and you should be knowing the fundamentals of all the previous things. I wouldn't ask you to know in depth of all these concepts. Tomorrow, if I ask during the interview what is the difference between activation function and loss function, you should be able to answer it. Okay, you should have the confidence. What are optimizers? Why do we use it? What is backpropagation? Okay, what is a perceptron? So those kind of questions. What is CNN? How does it work? What is RNN? How does it work? What is transformer? And in transformer, there is a concept called self-attention. What is self-attention? What is multi-head attention? Okay. So these are the kinds of concepts that you're going to learn it, guys. Now you tell me, is there anything else that it is missing here that you want to be learned to learn it? LLM ops, I think 4 to 5 classes should be sufficient, but it depends how fast you guys are grasping the concepts. Okay. Agentic AI I already wrote over here. We are not going to cover Kafka. It's not required for us. Okay. I would say, guys, as a lead AI developer, if you know these things, and I'm also somebody who takes a lot of interviews. Okay. So there isn't a concept that I wrote here that gets asked in the interview. Okay. You can just uh, 90% of the concepts will be asked here, and of course some scenario based questions. Okay. Agentic RAG, yeah. So when I talk about RAG, there are multiple types of RAG. Okay, it's not only agentic RAG. You have self-correction RAG, hybrid RAG. Okay, uh, self-corrective RAG. Sorry, self-corrective RAG, hybrid RAG. Okay, agentic RAG. So we'll see different kinds of RAG systems as well. Okay. So everybody good with the curriculum, guys? Do you have any questions related to the curriculum that I has just put it over here? Everyone, any questions that you have, please feel free to ask me, guys.
So can you tell about what are the tools and frameworks can be used in Python or example take it as a Django for fast.
Okay, understood. So we will use Fast API to create APIs and also the Flask framework to create the APIs from Python. Okay. And libraries like I will write the libraries names that are required for us. Scikit-learn, and we will use TensorFlow for deep learning, NLTK for natural language processing. Okay, I missed NLP also. Okay, there is something called as NLP. So in NLP, we will discuss what is tokenization. Okay, what is bag of words? What is TF-IDF? What are word embeddings? Okay, and what is named entity recognition? Okay, etc. There is something called as stemming, lemmatization. So these are the concepts that we discussed in NLP. Okay. For that, we will use either NLTK or Spice, Spacey libraries. Okay. And in generative AI, we use LangChain, as I told you already, LangGraph, and deep agents, etc. Well, LangFuse, LangSmith as well. Okay. Deployment over Azure, no, I'm going to do the deployment on AWS. Okay, if you know the deployment on AWS, it should be easy for you to deploy it in Azure also. Okay, so we will not be able to cover both of them, either one, either it is Azure or AWS. Okay, now I will show you guys where you can use the generative AI as a different job if you are in a different job role. So let me just show you, just start the slideshow. So what you could do actually build with GenAI domain by domain. So I will show you 10 roles, and each role what you can build in the with the help of generative AI. Okay. So of course, I may not have the much background behind these roles, but when you see the names over here, you will be able to understand if you are if you are related to that particular role, you will be able to relate it. Okay. So as a .NET developer, GenAI applications that you could build are AI code review and refactoring assistant, legacy .NET work framework to .NET migration analyzer. Okay, so what is the purpose of that? I have written over here. I'll share this slide with you. AI unit and integration test generator. Okay, natural language to EF core query builder, auto documentation generator for APIs. Okay, and AI CRUD operations modules scaffolder. So these are the kind of applications that you build with the if you are a .NET developer. Okay. And if you are a Java developer, these are the kind of sample applications that you can build. Okay. Monolithic to microservice decomposition advisor. Okay. Spring Boot code generator from requirements. AI dependency vulnerability scanner with autofix. Automated integration test generator. AI pull request review bot. Okay. API documentation and contract generator. Okay. So after I discuss these things, guys, I will tell you what all the applications that I build for multiple companies. Okay. So if you are a QA test automation generator, AI test case generator from user stories. Okay. So there is a Jira, and based on that Jira, one developer gets assigned a particular task, right? And for that particular task, there will also be a QA guy, okay, who will be testing that development part. So he will have his own unit test cases ready for that particular Jira ticket. Okay. So he can use AI to generate that self-healing UI test framework, AI visual regression checker, natural language test script writer, okay, AI bug triage and duplicate detector, autonomous exploratory testing agents. So these are the kind of applications that you can build it as a QA automation engine. Then as a DevOps engineer, AI ops incident correlation and root cause assistance. Okay. And auto-generated runbooks from past incidents. Okay. Predictive anomaly detection for infrastructure. Okay. Chat ops deployment assistant. Cloud cost and capacity optimization advisor. Okay. These are very, very important applications if you are somebody from DevOps. And automated post-mortem report generator. Okay. And if you are a SAP consultant, these are the kind of applications that you can build. Okay, like natural language SAP or data query assistant, invoice and PO dispute resolution agent, auto-generated SAP configuration documentation, AI ABAP code assistant, data migration validation and cleaning assistant, conversational procurement assistant. Okay. And I have also written what each of these applications help you with. If you're somebody with that role, you will be able to relate it. Okay. And how do you build a GenAI based applications if you are a database administrator? So this is very, very important. This application I've also worked it. Okay. Given a query, given a prompt, you convert that prompt into a SQL query and then hit a database and get the response. Okay. Instead of people running a SQL queries and generating the response from a database. Okay, AI query performance optimizer. Okay, so it analyzes slow queries and recommends indexes, rewrites, or partitioning strategies. Yeah. So you have automated database health and anomaly monitor, AI backup and disaster recovery advisor. Okay, auto-generated data dictionary, synthetic test data generator. And if you're somebody from IT help desk or a technical support, RAG-based internal IT knowledge chatbot. This kind of application also you will see it in many companies. So let's say you face some technical issue as a developer and you want to raise a request. So every time you cannot go to the live chatbot, live agent. So there will be a chatbot of every company that will have information about their process or the tools that you need to install. And if you are stuck, they will also have the resolution steps. So you just go to that chatbot and tell you a problem, and it will give you the information how to fix it from the knowledge that it has. So that's why it is a rack-based approach. So AI ticket triage and auto routing system. So let's say if I'm raising a ticket, based on the content of the ticket, it will route it to the correct department. So that you can do it with the help of agentic AI systems. Then self-service password and access request bot, guided troubleshooting. Uh, so you can build a chat bot that will guide a candidate to fix or troubleshoot a particular issue that he's facing. Then sentiment aware escalation bot, auto-generated knowledge base articles, so on and so forth. And this is also one of the fields case that got massively affected with generative AI. Okay, earlier companies would have lot of customer service representative, because I when I was working for Genpact in the BPO back in 2018, I on the floor on one floor itself we used to have almost 1,000 people. Okay, and all of them were either handling calls or chats or emails from the customers and taking the beating from the customers. Okay, and there was a company where I used to handle 5 chats at a time. Okay, it is pre-COVID. So that was kind of hectic. That's why people used to feel a lot stressful if you were a customer service representative back then. But nowadays, and back then also, if you are a customer service representative, they would ask, how good are you with English? Okay, whether or not you can write English and speak English and all that stuff. And they wanted somebody who can write well, because there were no chatbots available who can write some email, draft an email for the customer. Okay. Nowadays, just if you receive an email, automatically there will be a application which will extract the information from that email, understand the intent of that particular email. If it could answer from the knowledge base, it will answer it directly to the customer. Otherwise, it will route it to the customer service representative. Where customer service representative, all he has to do is just write in his own words and use AI tool, which will be integrated with their system. He can take help of, you might have seen this in Gmail also. So there will be some star that you can click, and then it will rewrite or polish the entire email. So it will automatically polish the response, and you can actually send it to the customer back. And nowadays, most of the queries are being solved by the chat GPT itself. Sorry, no, most of the queries are being solved by the chatbot itself initially. So you don't even reach the customer service, live customer service representative. Even before you reach it, your issue is solved, because that's how smart most of the chatbots that companies have built become. Okay. You might have used Amazon or any other customer service chatbots. Most of the issues, Zomato, Zepto, okay, so they actually solve a lot of the queries in the beginning stage itself, without having to reach it to the live customer agent. Okay, there are voice agents also that will actually speak like an agent, like a person. So if a customer is calling to a customer service representative, a live agent, okay, who will be acting as a customer service representative, and he will be answering, the agent will be answering the queries of the customer just like a human being, and he will do a better job than the, most of the time, better job than the customer service representative. So you have real-time agent assist tools, automated call chat summarizer. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Okay. And sentiment analysis and escalation alerting. Okay, you can build an agentic AI system where one agent will receive an email and extract the information from that, and the other agent will take that information and understand the intent of it. And if that email is related to, let's say, billing department, so it can just route it to the billing agent. If that issue is related to some HR department, so he will route it to HR department. If it is related to some technical issue, it will route it to technical department. So you will create multiple agents that will handle each individual issue. Okay, department issue, billing issue will be handled by billing agent. Then the technical issue will be handled by the technical agent. And if that is something very, very escalating, then it will directly route it to the live agent, okay, which is actually a human being. So that kind of agentic AI system have been or is being built by many, many companies. So multilingual support assistant. Okay, if somebody is especially from Canada, okay, if you are somebody who worked in the BPO, if somebody is chatting from Canada and they speak multiple languages, not only English, so if they might write in a language that you do not understand. Okay, then you can simply use the LLM that is incorporated in your CRM and understand the intent of that customer and reply in a language that he understands. Okay, in the same language with the help of these LLMs. And voice AI for inbound and outbound calls. Okay, so sales agents especially, okay, they don't have to call the customers as a cold calling. Rather, they can use voice agents. They can call the customers, and then they can explain the product and its benefits and try to sell it. Okay, because if a real human being calls, maybe he might get beating sometimes, but voice agents will not have that problem. Again, the efficacy or the effectiveness of voice agents will only depend on, you will have to do the testing, A by B testing. Let's say you have voice agent that is calling X amount of customers, and there is an agent, the normal person who is calling X amount of customers. So you will compare the performance of both of them. So if you are, for your product, if the voice agents are doing better job, of course you will continue with that. If the normal human beings are doing a better job, then normal agents will do most of the calling. So you can test that part also. Okay. Then in HR, you might have seen a lot of applications that are being built. You can take mock interview or smart recruiter, where so all everything will be done by AI itself. So based on the job description and also the resume, it will generate the questions for the candidate. So candidate will be coming live on camera, and the agent will be observing his movements, eye movements, with the help of computer vision concept. And then based on that, the live, the voice agent can ask questions, okay, live. or else it can just show the text on the screen, and the interview candidate can answer the questions, and those answers will be taken again by the LLM in the backend, and it will evaluate the responses and it will score it, and that report this application will send it to the recruiter directly, and the recruiter will decide whether that candidate is hired or not, and then recruiter will take the next steps. Okay, so yeah, see the applications like automated job description generator, AI interview scheduling and communication assistant, employee HR chatbot, personalized onboarding assistant, candidate fit analysis from interview notes. Okay, and if it is for finance and accounts payable analyst, if you are of this role, you can build AI invoice processing and data extraction tools, and automated invoice dispute resolution agent, AI expense reporter agent, report auditor, natural language financial reporting assistant, AI transaction fraud detection tool, automated month-end close and reconciliation assistant. So these are the kind of applications that you build if you are from this particular role. Okay. So 60 project ideas, guys, 10 domains, pick the domain that you are from, and this GenAI is sufficient for you to build all these applications. So if you learn these concepts, which I have discussed over here, you can build any one of the projects that I actually showed you over here from this lot. Okay. So any questions, guys, that you have? Yes, guys, questions? Please let me know if you have any questions.
This 3 months is enough to complete all the topics.
There is some resound echoing from your end. Yeah.
Is 3 months is enough?
Can you speak?
Is 3 months? Sorry.
Yeah, it's in some echo. I think you have to rejoin. Yeah. So guys, I will tell you the applications that I actually built for various companies. I don't want to name the companies, but I'll tell you there's a company where their requirement was, let's say they will upload some meeting MOMs, okay, from various files. So they actually have multiple files like Outlook uh, downloaded emails or Gmail downloaded emails or any other files in which they actually stored MOMs or something like that. So when you upload all those documents to the application, so your application needs to extract that entire information, and from that all the files it needs to generate actions and decisions that they discussed in those calls, and then it has to put all those actions and decisions in a particular file or Excel file and share it with the user. Okay, so that way they will know what actions were discussed and who was the owner of that particular action. Okay, and what is the date on which that action was discussed. Similarly, what is the decision that was discussed in that call, and who was the owner of that decision, and what is the due date of that. So those kind of information you can do it. We did it with the help of the generative AI. Okay, we build microservices for that particular application. Okay, and then we build RAG based systems, like where your company has a lot of documents and they want to just have a RAG chatbot or conversational chatbot that will just pull the information from those documents and give it to the user. So user will be just asking a question, and then that chatbot will find out that answer for that particular question from the vector stores. So in that vector stores, we actually store all the company's information. Okay, so those are, if most of the companies that I work for, I built RAG based systems. Okay, and for few companies, we build the agentic AI based systems. Okay, uh, where the user sends a question and one agent will decide which agent to say. Orchestrator is somebody an agent which will route your queries to different sub agents. Okay, so one agent was SQL agent where it will create this SQL query based on the user's question, and based on that SQL query it will hit the Snowflake database, and then it will pull the information from there and give it to the LLM, and LLM will refine the response and give it to the user. And there was another agent called visualization agent. So based on the facts that it was pulling from the Snowflake, that visualization agent will create the chats, different chats, okay, or tables, and it will show it to the user. And there was another agent which will create the reports. Okay, so those kind of applications that we built it in the Agentic AI. Yes, guys, I think that's all from my end for today. Is 90 to 120 day are enough to complete all this topic properly? So I would say, Sachin, 90 to 120 days. In this 90 days itself, you will get to understand what exactly is generative AI and how can you build an application. And after that, just 1 month of preparation and building one project that you can explain it to the interviewer and you're good. Okay. There are candidates who actually got interviewed and then cleared the exam right after 3 months of course. Okay. So it depends on how well you actually spend every day or over the weekend to understand the concepts.
Mujib, for portfolio execution, you mentioned that 60 projects across 10 domains.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, how actually we discuss these projects, are it selectively we discuss in the during the course, or how?
No, no, no. I will help you build the RAG-based chatbots. Okay, based on some documents, I will build a chatbot, and also I will also use a agentic AI approach to build that. So same concept. You will have to use either RAG-based chatbot or the generative AI-based chatbot, agentic AI-based chatbot or normal chatbot. But you have to connect those concepts to your domain. Okay, you find the pain point in your process that you are doing currently. So where is the process? Where is the pain point that I have that I can fix it with the help of LLM? So that idea you will get it once you learn the course. Okay. So without learning the course, you will not be able to relate how you can fix the issues that you are facing in that particular domain. Okay, let's say I'm from uh, uh, insurance domain. Okay, so whatever the issues that I get in insurance, I may have the idea like, okay, these are the issues that I get and I can fix it in this fashion with the help of LLM. So if you are from a domain, let's say .NET developer or .NET developer or Java developer, what are the regular challenges that you face that you can automate with the help of AI? So you can build that kind of application and propose it to your manager. So this is what I built and we've been spending a lot of time into it. Why can't I automate it? Okay. And if that proposal gets accepted, you will be the one that will be leading that particular project in that company with your idea. Or you may be given few more developers and just get the job done along with those developers. Okay. So this is just to give you an idea what kind of applications that you will build. It's not like I'm going to show all these projects. Okay. So this is just to give you an idea what kind of applications you can build based on a different role. That's it.
What are the possible roles when I mean, after the completion of this AI engineering course,
Yeah.
what are the possible roles in the industry, and what is the talent gap currently? How demand the course is?
Generative AI, guys, it's one of the in-demand courses and the most paid job role is generative AI currently. You can ask anybody. If you are a lead AI developer or a generative AI engineer, you will be the one who will be getting the most CTC compared to the other candidates. Okay, so it's very, very in demand. So lead Gen AI engineer, or you can be lead ML engineer. Okay, you can be data scientist. Okay, and I wouldn't say data analyst because I don't like data analyst is a very simple job, guys. You don't that's not something very, very fascinating. But data scientist, ML engineer, deep learning engineer, a lead AI engineer or a AI engineer, and a generative AI engineer. Agentic AI engineer. That is a new role that is coming up, Agentic AI engineer. Yeah. So these are the roles, guys. And MLOps engineer also. You can call it as either MLOps or LLMOps engineer. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, is there any background required for this course? Because we see AWS and
See, if you are a fresher also, you can learn this course. No need of any background.
okay, while projecting in the resume and for the entire ecosystem to understand, it will take more time. Huh?
No, it will not take much time. See, if you are somebody who's already in IT and you know how the application, software engineering, okay, there is something called as software engineering. So if you know the side of software engineering already, how the applications are built, it doesn't have to be a generative based application. How the other applications are built and how is that deployed in the in various environments. If you have that idea, then it will be very easy to understand this concept. Even if you don't have an idea, it will be the first time that you will be hearing and you will get the idea how things happen in the industry. So let's say if you are from maybe customer service, okay, maybe customer service, and what you can do is I was a data scientist in that particular company or a ML engineer or a GenAI based engineer. And this is the chatbot that I built that helped the customer service representative answer the customer questions faster. And it was actually reducing the amount of queries that we get it because most of the queries were actually being handled by the AI itself. So this is the kind of impact that I made and it has reduced the stress of the candidates. So depending on the pain point, okay, so whatever the impact that you made in that particular project, you can just build a story around it and speak it to the interviewer, speak to the interviewer. That's it. It's all about building the story, guys, and just telling it to the interviewer. As I said yesterday also, no interviewer will come and check in your company whether or not you actually worked on the project. Okay, all they check it is did you work in that previous company that you claimed in your resume. That's it. In the background verification, that too. But they nobody will ask what is the role that you worked for and all that stuff. If you are clearing the interview, that means you are good enough to work in that particular project.
What are the core responsibility? Like you said that agent created and under the agent there will be a master agent. Otherwise, finally it goes to the human.
Yeah, human in the loop.
Is
Yeah.
that the core responsibility of AI engineer, or are there any additional challenges in AI engineering?
See, in AI domain itself, you have multiple roles, right? Like right from junior AI developer, most of his work will be just like doing tasks given by his seniors. That's it. Okay, he doesn't have to brainstorm much. Then you will have a lead AI engineer. So in lead AI engineer's job is to just look after the junior engineers and then assign them the task accordingly. And there will be AI architects or AI solution architects. Those people's job is to design the architecture. Okay. Entire technical architecture you should be designing. So you should be building a system, not the application. Okay. Entire system that you have to design, and this will be done by the AI architects. So based on that system, you will have discussions every day with the technical team, and you will finalize an architecture, and you will divide the entire architecture into multiple phases. Okay, in each sprint, you will take some work, and that work will be divided into multiple developers. Each developer will start building everything from scratch. Okay, so everything needs to be written by you, whether you write it manually if you're that smart or get it written from AI. Okay, so writing the code is not at all tough in the industry. You will be given GitHub Copilot access. So in the Visual Studio itself, there will be a GitHub Copilot. All you have to do is prompt. But to understand whatever the code it is generated, you should know the Python fundamentals. Okay, understood. So basically, the role is you have to build everything from scratch. And how do you know how to build it from the scratch? When you do the project that I'm going to talk about in the industry, in the class. So I will show you the sample project. This is how the project looks like.
Okay. When actually these agents started generation created? I mean, in terms of experience, we need to project experience. If we put two old, two back, and putting experience, they will identify it. When
Yeah, I would say even before the agentic AI experience, you should talk about the RAG architecture, RAG. Okay, so this is more important than the agentic AI application. So this application is used by many companies, and only limited amount of companies that are using agentic AI based application. So I will show you both the applications. So you can explain whichever application that you are comfortable with to the interviewer. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
yeah,
Yeah. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap up?
but for this point of time, we can project it for a new guy to come into this field, and projecting is initially 3 years would be fine, or,
Three,
or the companies are looking for 5 years.
no, 3+ is minimum.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether it is into AI and all, I don't mind. All you have to do is just tweak your resume, because you are honest enough. You worked on the you worked on POCs projects like these in our course, and you have the idea. You're not even cheating because you're just searching for the opportunity. There is hardly engineers that will have 3 years of GenAI experience, right? Because GenAI it's been only 3 or 3.5 years old. So if somebody is claiming I have 5 years of GenAI experience, means that he is lying. So I am somebody who started working in GenAI ever since GenAI started. So I myself don't have more than 4 years of experience in GenAI. Before that, it's all AI/ML, right? So more than the generative AI experience, you whatever you built, whatever you are explaining it to the interview, that matters a lot. But you should have some experience from the back.
Yeah.
Okay, doesn't have to be GenAI.
What about the coding part? As a AI engineer, do we need to write coding, or the AI chatbots AI chatbots will help us to code? Or,
See, I built this entire application. You see what I did? All I did is vibe engineering. Okay, I didn't do vibe coding. I did vibe engineering. There's a different. I know there's a difference. Okay, vibe engineering means I know what is being built. It's not just blindly I'm writing the prompt and then it is creating. So I know why this folder is needed. I know why this folder is needed. I know why this SRC and what do we need to have in SRC. So all these things I know. Okay, all I have to do is just prompt it and it will create the files on its own. Okay, so it's very easy to build the applications in real time if you have the idea how to build the application. Okay.
the- what about is the process is same like how we develop and test and finally moving to the production? Is the AI projects also doing the similar fashion? How we traditional
Yes.
projects are going?
Everything will be traditional. Okay, when it comes to the application and deployment, everything will be traditional. Only the building or developing part will require AI. That's it. That's the only change. Rest of the thing, testing part, QS, identifying the bugs and coming back to the AI developers, asking it to fix. And then if it is going to the UAT environment, then users will be testing the application and they will come up with the bugs. And then one developer or a couple of developer will be assigned the task to fix it. So until you go to the production. So that process will remain intact because that is software engineering. You cannot eradicate that part.
What about the salary scales? Is it a huge difference between India and abroad? Like we have Dubai, nearby locations. If you compare Singapore, Malaysia, we have enough foreign opportunities also.
I don't know about Dubai and all, but US, Europe, per hour, if you are from US, you may get, if you have experience more than 5+, per month, minimum is $5,000. Okay, minimum. If it is per month, $100 per hour, maybe $100 or $80 or $70. If you are way good, $150 also per hour. Okay, and Europe 75 per hour or 65 or something around that. And India, if you have 5+ years of experience overall or 7+, you will get somewhere around 35 to 45 LPA easily. Indian companies, I wouldn't say they will give you that much, but companies like me, okay, which is a US based company, they give you a good amount of salaries, okay. And maybe if it is Infosys, Wipro, and all those companies, maybe you get with 5+ years of experience, 30 lakhs, 32 lakhs, or 35 lakhs, something like that. Okay. If you have almost 10+ years of experience, then you may get 50 plus also, 55 plus also. There is a candidate, one of my friends, his city is almost 70, and there's another guy's CTC, he's working in a product based company. His CTC, he has 15+ years of experience overall, he gets 1 crore. So it depends completely on the experience and the company that you're trying for. Okay. Any other questions, guys? All right. If you do not have any questions, we will catch up tomorrow, guys. Thank you all for joining. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you, Mujeeb. Thank you so much for sharing knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you.